Hi guys, Aaron Dorr here with Wyoming Gun Owners with kind of a special video today. Not our normal video. We're not going to break down a certain race or discuss a certain set of candidates. We're just going to kind of discuss the swamp attack that many of you are asking about on our Facebook page. You're calling the phone, you're hitting us on email, and you're trying to figure out like what exactly is going on, because it seems like every swamp monster that we have in the Capitol is rising up out of the soup trying to attack Wyoming gun owners. And so this video is going to kind of be about that situation and about the overall fight for conservative values in Wyoming and why it's so damn hard to get Republicans to actually do what they say they're going to do when they're on the campaign trail. Yeah, I've been involved in the fight for gun rights in 5 states for the last 12 and a half years now. Of course, Ogden Driscoll, he's angry about that because nobody who wasn't born and raised in Wyoming has the right to fight for freedom. But I love fighting for gun rights. I love fighting for freedom. And I was very happy to play the leading role in drafting the Stand Your Ground law that passed in 2018. But I've seen in so many states then, what happens every 2 years during the primaries is that most organizations, whether it's gun groups, pro-life groups, tax organizations, immigration organizations, they all want to talk a big game during session. These organizations do, but very few of them have the guts to go after anti-gun Republicans in the primary elections. And everybody in Wyoming, everybody in America knows we have a growing, real problem with anti-gun Republicans. Now, in some states, like my home state of Iowa, where you've got more of a swing state, we have to do both and. We have to deal with problems in the primary and real problems in the general election. But in a place like Wyoming, or a place like Missouri, where I also love to work, or these kind of states, the threat is from within. The problem with our gun rights, the gun bills are being blocked not by Democrats, by Republicans. The gun control bills are being sponsored and supported by not the Democrats, but the Republicans. And so, of course, if we're going to be honest with our members, if we're going to be honest with gun owners in Wyoming, we dang sure have to fight right now during the primaries. So we're not surprised in the slightest to see people like all hat, no cattle, Ogden Driscoll here stand up and fight because against us, because the swamp always defends its own. Now you might say, well, Ogden's not a bad guy. Didn't he vote yes on Stand Your Ground law? Sure. These guys do the minimum. They always do. But anytime you expose their friends, they go ballistic. And we're seeing that from pouting Ogden right now. One of the main people that we are working to expose in this primary cycle is Michael von Flatteren. Von Flatteren was a lifelong Democrat, former Senate president, and he is the very definition of the swamp in Cheyenne. He's the lead sponsor on, he's one of the main lead sponsors anyway, on Fixed NICS gun control legislation this year. He opposed Stand Your Ground law. He opposed gun-free zone repeal legislation. He opposed campus carry. Hell, he even opposed constitutional carry clear back in 2011. When Senator Bouchard ran Wyoming gun owners. This guy sponsors gun control and has opposed every single pro-gun bill of consequence in the last 10 years as a state senator. So WYGO is going out of our way to make sure that gun owners in Gillette know about his treachery. He's a monster when it comes to our gun rights. So instead of supporting gun owners who are calling Michael von Flatteren accountable, Ogden Driscoll gets on his high horse and begins to attack WYGO. And so you have to ask yourself the question, why are these people attacking the organization and the grassroots gun owners who are trying to hold gun grabbers accountable? It's because swamp creatures always rise up and defend themselves. And of course, they have a litany of people who help them do this. One of the guys who we've seen all over Ogden's Facebook page, his lips are pressed so tight against Ogden's backside, you wonder how he can breathe, is Nephi Cole. Well, Nephi Cole used to work for Governor Meade. And when he worked for Governor Meade, he was sent willingly to Colorado to talk with the governor over there, Hickenlooper, a couple years ago, to see how they could implement red flag gun seizures here in Wyoming. That's the kind of guy you're dealing with. Nephi Cole is now the lead lobbyist behind the mental health Fix Nix bill that this guy is pushing, Michael von Flatteren. Do you see how incestuous this soup is? Do you see how dirty this game is? So Nephi Cole is protecting Driscoll, trying to. He can't even breathe. His lips are wrapped around his butt so tight. Nephi Cole tries to protect Driscoll. Driscoll is trying to protect von Flatteren. And together, they're all of them attacking pro-gun legislators like Anthony Bouchard. Because like Wyoming gun owners, like so many of you, this guy tells the truth. He calls a spade a spade. He knows the threat to our freedom in Wyoming has not come from the Democrats. Heck, there's 3 of them in the Senate and 9 of them in the House. The problem is in our own camp. And so you have this collection of people like this guy, Ogden Driscoll, and others, and lobbyists, gun control lobbyists, and all these players, the media outlets, all coming together to protect their own people. That is the level, that is the nature of the battle for freedom and for gun rights here in Wyoming. Now, you got to ask yourself about Ogden. Here's the kind of, these are the kind of guys that we're being attacked by. Ogden's the kind of guy, he says he's all 100% pro-gun. He screwed us on a gun bill in 2019, gun-free zone repeal. He was a no vote. You can look it up. I think it was Senate File 75, not 100% sure, but almost sure it was Senate File 75. And here's a guy who just this year supports a lodging tax increase, which is going to raise taxes on hotels in Wyoming because get this. He knows that tax increase is going to go to the Department of Tourism. And then the Department of Tourism is going to advertise all of these places for vacationers, for tourists to come into Wyoming. Sounds great, right? Maybe it's not a big deal, but here's what he left out. Ogden Driscoll owns the campground right next to Devil's Tower. You see, so he gets to vote on a bill that will indirectly but very directly stuff money right into his pocket. Does he declare a conflict and say, I cannot ethically vote for this? No, that's not how swamp creatures roll, but that's what he does. 2019, the National Retail Fairness Act. This bill would raise taxes on big companies here in Wyoming to the tune of $45 million. Everybody in the Capitol knew that bill, the ramifications of that, would require layoffs. Your friends, your family, maybe you, your children, your grandchildren, people are going to get laid off to offset a $45 million tax hike on employers in Wyoming. Ogden didn't oppose that bill. Ogden co-sponsored that bill. That's the kind of incestuous backroom dealing that people like Ogden do. And so anytime anybody threatens that power structure, you have to be destroyed. I have to be destroyed. WYGO has to be destroyed. And the thing is that they're used to that game working because most organizations in Cheyenne operate from an access-based lobbying tactic. And what that means, just in very simple terms, is that they're ass kissers. They're always trying to be friendly with the politicians. WYGO has always been different. We are a confrontational, mobilization, grassroots-oriented organization. In other words, you guys are the muscle. So we don't have to be nice. Sure, we're as nice as we can be, but I don't have to be nice with a piece of trash like this who's supporting gun control. I don't have to beg Senate President Perkins to pass gun control bills. I didn't have to beg former Senate President Bebout to pass stand your ground law. In fact, truth be told, this is kind of a story you might not know about. In 2018, when these guys, von Flatteren and all these swamp creatures were running amendments trying to weaken stand your ground law, we were using muscle. We were pressuring these guys. I got called into the principal's office, got summoned up to Senate President Bebout's office. There's 6 senators, myself, one other gun rights lobbyist, and they began to scream at us for putting so much pressure on them. For most lobbyists, like Nephi Cole, they'd cry. They'd urinate themselves. We told them, you know what? We don't work for you. We work for our members. You want the pressure to stop? Do the right thing, pass our bill, stop trying to water it down, and we can all get along. That's the kind of organization that WYGO is. We don't play games. We don't pull punches. We don't protect parties. We fight to defend our members and their gun rights, and we're damn proud of it. So for all of you moderates watching Ogden right now, I'm just going to tell you, we got no problem hitting anybody in the primaries. Digital ads, our members are so generous, we can afford to run digital ads on almost anybody in the swamp that we want to. So if you're watching this and you're a lobbyist, if you're watching this and you're elected and you're one of the folks who are trying to figure out what to do, how do we stay out of the heat from WYGO, just realize it's really simple. You vote the right way. You don't screw with our gun rights. You don't try to make us go through waiting periods like Dan Furphy. You don't try to pass fix nicks like Von Flatteren tried to do. You don't try to pass ways to weaken stand your ground law like Tara Nethercott's trying to do right now. You don't do those things and we're okay. We're okay. But if you ever try to screw with our gun rights, you're going to pay a price. WYGO members don't just support this tactic, they demand it. And myself, my brothers, the whole team here who helps work behind the scenes for WYGO, we love nothing more than delivering for our members. Guys, if you like this video, do me a favor, share it far and wide. We have people that need to see this in all corners of the state. Share this video, get it out there, and for heaven's sakes, we need you now as a member of WYGO. Go to joinwygo.com to get signed up today. Thank you.